The history of women. Women have lived an enormously harsh life for most of history. They have hardly had the chance to share the same amount of fame that men do. The history of women is filled with romance, loss, adventure, victory, and regret. In the earliest times, before societies were formed, everyone was more or less equal, and there was hardly any fight related to classes, status, and gender. Once societies began to take form, and governance and laws were in place, the standards of living did increase, but the changes were not equally distributed. This had repercussions for humanity, and problems arose in society. Problems that we are still dealing with to this day. From class separation to gender inequality, the presence of a government and society changed many things for humans. While women primarily stuck to their roles in the ancient world, there were a few who changed the course of history by making a difference, leaving their homes to fight wars, become philosophers, luminaries, or warriors who would be remembered forever. Sappho was one of the first female writers. She was considered one of the best poets by Plato. Caught in love, passion, and politics, Cleopatra was an Egyptian queen of Greek descent. She was known for having a lot of power, and her unprecedented beauty is talked about even today. Mary Magdalene. The Bible portrays her as a repentant sinner, while many sects of the religion believe that she was a virtuous woman. She is considered to be the woman who stayed back even after all the male disciples had left after the crucifixion. In medieval Europe, the status of women was largely dictated by biblical texts. They were seen as inferior to men because of having originated from a sinner, Eve. In Islam, the status of women was a lot better than in other regions during the time of the Prophet Muhammad. They enjoyed a lot of autonomy and also had the ability to own property and manage business. The Aztec civilization regarded women as equals and even allowed them to take part in military service. In Asia, Mongolian women were of the highest status. They became archers and swordsmen. Genghis Khan even trained his daughters as army generals. The Middle Ages was hence a period when different regions and societies treated women differently. The period had women rise to being powerful leaders, philosophers, and artists. Hildegard of Bingen. Hildegard lived a life isolated behind convent walls. However, she remained powerful through her advice to popes, kings, and influential people during her time. Eleanor of Aquitaine. She is considered to be the first queen of France. Her sons, Richard and John, later became the kings of England. She was able to command authority over the people with her influential alliances and her influence over her sons. Joan of Arc. At the age of 17, she led the French to victory over the English at Orléans. Today, she is considered the patron saint of France. In the pre-modern period, many women expressed dissent to the laws that considered them as inferior and were vocal about their status, challenging the rules in the society. This gave rise to literacy, and many literate women voiced their thoughts through poems and writings. Catherine de' Medici. Catherine was married to the King of France at the age of 14. She was involved in a lot of politics and tried to increase the power of her sons that she favored. This was not taken lightly by the people and resulted in the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. Elizabeth I. She became Queen of England at a time when England was faced with many tribulations. She guided the country to victory over the Spanish Armada and helped England become one of the most dominating powers in the world. The cultural and literary development during her reign was very high. Sarah Khatun was a skillful diplomat and headed embassies for the purpose of regulating disputed issues. She was a diplomat of Akkayunlu state and Ujun Ghassan's mother. Azerbaijani women have enjoyed the same legal rights with men for centuries. In 1918, Azerbaijan became the first Muslim-majority country to provide voting rights for women. There are no restrictions on participation of women in politics in Azerbaijan. As of 2015, 21 out of 125 seats in the parliament were occupied by women. In 2017, Mehriban Aliyeva became the first woman in Azerbaijan to become vice president, the highest position a woman has occupied in the country. Women have also had full access to education in Azerbaijan for a long time. In 1889, Niger Shiklinskaya became the first Azeri female to obtain a higher education. The first Azeri secular girls' school was opened in 1901, which was also the first of this kind in the Russian Empire. In 1931, the first female aviator in Azerbaijan, Leyla Mammadbeyova, performed her first flight. In the modern period, women's roles have largely risen. Today, a lot of women still have a family and take care of their children, but they also find time to start and advance in their careers. Many women leaders have risen to take higher positions than men in many areas. 4 of such prominent female leaders who have overcome all barriers in their professional lives and proved that women are capable of succeeding in all positions traditionally taken by men are Savinj Principe, Leyla Novruzova, Alison Strong, and Nargiz Nasrullayeva. Ability is sexless.